So hi guys, my name is Jared. This is a third. I'm doing quite a lot of Mandela Effect videos. I'm quite psyched about it at the moment. I feel it's a kind of a direction that I want to be travelling in and working with, and the spiritual aspects or the esoteric aspects of the Mandela Effect. I work as a medium, and I work with helping people spiritually develop themselves and help them to understand their own awakening process and some of the more weirder and wackier things that experiences that people can have. And in this video I want to talk a little bit about I mentioned it in a previous video, and I've talked about it a few times, about the connection with Cern and the Mandela Effect. And I want to draw up some points basically about why I feel that, though there's I know there's evidence in the public domain connecting Cern to the Mandela Effect, it just doesn't sit right with me, and I want to draw up a couple of questions and points as to why. Okay, firstly, I want to say that it doesn't explain why the concept of reality shifts and Mandela effects was around before the Large Hadron Collider. You look at Cynthia Sue Larson's work, Reality Shifts, How Consciousness Changes the Physical World. It's one of my favourite books at the moment. This was written in the 1990s, and she takes it in a wider scope, not just what people represent as Mandela effects, as remembering someone alive again, or remembering a certain change in a brand logo, or biblical changes, or these sorts of things. She takes it into the wider scope of this reality shifting experience that people do have. And essentially, if you think about it, a lot of paranormal experiences could be attributed to reality shifts. Another experience of this, which again predates the Large Hadron Collider, is the experience of aportation. Aportation is a paranormal experience where an object appears out of nowhere or disappears. And this has been this has been recorded as happening in essentially in plain sight. The Scole group experiments in 1993. It was a bunch of a group of psychics and mediums, etc., that did a series of experiments that were scientifically tested, and only really can be described as shifts in reality, essentially. There's one experiment where they meditated on a box of film, and the film was sealed. It was done by a couple of scientists that were on board. They brought this sealed box, and they didn't actually see the film. The people who were doing the experiments didn't actually see the film. It was only the scientists that were helping them that actually saw the physical object. It was in a box, and when they did the meditation and the exercise around the box, they found that the film was printed with all different things. So essentially, that in itself is a reality shift. Now, it might not be on the scope that people see as the Mandela Effect, but it is essentially a shift in reality. It's a physical object being affected by means that are, which being affected by non-physical means, or non-local means. So that's one thing that basically doesn't reason why it doesn't sit right with me. The second thing is, why do some people have some Mandela effects but not others? I've had Mandela effects. The biggest one for me was the Star Trek All Good Things one. That was really crazy, how much that episode has changed. I've watched that episode so many times. But like some of the Brando ones, the biblical ones, not sort of religious in any way, shape or form, but I do remember certain things from childhood with regards to the Bible, and they are quite interesting. The Kennedy assassination ones, I remember them, but obviously I remember Nelson Mandela being freed from prison and taking office, being the president of South Africa, writing his book. I remember my friend having his autobiography, and I obviously remember him passing away in 2014, I think it was. In the early 2014, or it might be 2015. Yeah, so it would have been the last couple of years, basically, when he passed away. I know it was very, very recently. So why do some people have some Mandela effects and other people have, others? So that doesn't sort of, to me, Cern being the cause of that doesn't explain it to me. The third thing that I feel why it's not connected is because if this is a connection to the sort of the wider agenda, the NWO agenda or the Illuminati agenda, or whatever you want to call it, then by their very nature, these elites have to tell you what they're doing. It's universal law that in order to actually do something upon a person, they have to have that person's acceptance that that's what they're going to do. And there's not enough at the moment corroborating evidence. Yes, sure, there's videos here and there, there's interviews, but to me, I haven't seen enough sort of corroborating evidence where it's actually looked at logically. It's looked at, to me, a lot of the Cern stuff seems to be looked at through the eyes of fear. And what I find really interesting, I find this throughout my entire spiritual journey over the last few years, is that nothing happens without reason. You can have the strangest paranormal experience, right? And I've dealt with, some really, really strange stuff over the years, and nothing happens, even the weirdest stuff, nothing happens without a reason. And so why was it that it caught on? Because you can look at it through Google Trends pre-2015. There's very little about it, and suddenly in 2015, when you have these, you had the wave X and these great gamma waves, and there's a lot of stuff in the spiritual awakening community about these massive waves of energy which are shifting things. We had the Shemitah period in 2015, in September 2015. There's a video on that on this channel that you can take a look at that I talked about back in that time. But why is it that it's called the Mandela Effect? Now, obviously, I know it's because it's connected to Fiona Broome at a conference called Dragon Con. That in itself, the fact that it's Dragon Con, and you actually look into the mythos, the mythos, the mythology, and the esotericism of dragons and dragon energy. There's definitely some connection there, and when I know more, I'll probably have Sam come and do a little bit about that at some later date and talk about it, because it's not something that we are in any fit state at the moment to move forward with, and to say there's a connection there. But why Mandela? And I think, what's the significance of Nelson Mandela? Nelson Mandela obviously being synonymous with fighting against oppression, fighting against slavery, fighting against apartheid, and essentially what the mythos of Nelson Mandela, how he's almost like the mythology in our consciousness has become to be known, is essentially someone who stood up for freedom. He changed reality in a sense, not in a sense of the Mandela Effect, but he did change the reality because he changed the thoughts and beliefs and of a culture of people, a country of people, and that the symbology of that is, I think, to me personally, it's just my own interpretation. This is what I'm sharing, is my own interpretation. You can take or leave it, fine. But there's a lot of what Mandela has become representational of is being something bigger than what you are, and breaking free. And essentially that's what the spiritual awakening process is for everyone who goes through that journey. It's like the hero's journey. It's a symbology of breaking free. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. This is just a kind of think piece video. I just wanted to sort of provoke a bit of discussion and see what you guys think about it. Has it been a liberating experience for you having a Mandela effect, or has it been, an experience that's really, really frightened you? And if so, why? Really interesting to discuss this with you guys. Check out some of my other Mandela effect videos by look at the videos on the left hand side of the screen. On the right hand side of the screen, you can subscribe to this channel. Please like, share the video, comment on it below. Let's get some discussion going, and you can also check out our paranormal channel over at Paranormal Now and have a look at some awesome paranormal evidence. Thank you very much for watching, guys. My name's Jared, and I'll see you next time on another video. Take care.